Hey everyone, I am Karen with Walsh of Karen's Pots and Glass, and welcome back to my home studio here in my basement. It's a cold, blustery day in Ohio, and I thought, what better day to go down to my basement, turn on the heater, and get to work down here. So I'm going to show you a system today for how to keep clay out of your drains, because anyone who has a pottery studio, whether it's in your home or elsewhere, will know the importance of not getting clay into those drains, because in the long run, it will wreak havoc on your plumbing. So my utility sink over here has a two-step system. One is I use the clay trap underneath. That is a Glaco clay trap. I'll put a link down below that you can find them. I don't get anything from Glaco for this video. It's just the trap that I bought many years ago when I set up my studio, and it works like a charm, so I thought I would share it with you. And also I have a bucket system where I pre-wash, and that actually keeps the majority of the clay from even getting down into the trap. But I do whatever I can to keep my plumbing clear and to make sure that I'm not wreaking any havoc on my septic system, because I live out in the country and it doesn't go into, a normal drain system with the community. It is our system, so we got to take care of it and do it well. So drop me any questions that you might find below in the comments, just underneath the video. You can comment down there. Follow me on socials under Karen's Pots and Glass. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I hope you all stay creative and keep potting out there. All right, so here we go. I've got my Glaco trap underneath my sink, and I have a big basin that I'm going to be using, and I have to kind of wedge it down here. Let me put this, I'm going to set this down. Okay, so as I put this in here, I have to kind of turn it sideways. Glaco traps are sold with different sizes, so it depends on your actual plumbing, where your whatever that's called, the gooseneck is. That will determine the size that you can have on your particular plumbing setup. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to release the water. And this, there we go. When this is in line, it's open, just like, a gas valve. It would be open like that. And I'm just going to let the water that's currently in the pipe come out. By the way, I should mention, if you happen to hear a clicky noise in the background, my kiln is on, and I just temporarily turned off my kiln vent while I'm doing this video. Okay, so now I'm going to grab this, and hopefully I won't cover it up too much with the camera. I'm going to grab this and twist to remove it. And I am right up to that line with my sediment, so I knew that it was time to change. Now, you might be wondering, what do you do with this? Well, I just literally take it, and that's why I have my trash can here. I have a bag handy, so I am dumping it first kind of in a bag, and then I'll close that bag up. Sometimes these traps can get very stinky, because when you're using it, you have this anaerobic bacteria in there, so that's why I like to bag it, shut the bag, so it's no longer going to be smelly. Okay, and before I put this trap back on, I like to just wipe it out. And my system at my house is a little different from my system at school, because I do have a bucket that I pre-rinse everything. So the bucket in the sink is actually collecting the majority of it. Now at school, I use just the traps when the kids are washing. I don't have pre-buckets, just because we don't really have room. Okay, now I'm gonna shut this back again. Make sure it's a little tight on there. I have heard, even though I don't really know that it's true, I have heard that if you have a leak, you can always put a little Vaseline. There's a tiny little black rubber gasket right up inside here on the top of the bottle. Sometimes if that gasket falls out, you just have to watch and just place it back on top of the bottle and stick it back in there. So you can kind of see the water is starting to fill here. As soon as it gets up there, I will see if I have a leak. Everything looks good. All right. And now I can just take this out. And again, having it like a nice basin or a bowl underneath it while you're doing it certainly helps. And then the water that came out, I'm dumping in my sink again. All right, so let me pick this up and I'm going to show you up here. This is my pre-rinse bucket. Now, this pre-rinse bucket, I can dump a lot of the water out, and when it gets down to the slip, I'm going to stop. And then the question is, what do you do with this stuff? Well, you've got a few different options. And this, by the way, this too gets a little stinky. Because again, I have stuff that's been sitting in here. So this is actually really full. The slip is almost to this point. So this is really full. So what can you do with this to get rid of it? Well, this is slip. This might be glaze rinsings, a lot of different stuff. So one thing is you could just take the bucket, you could put it someplace out of the way, like in a garage or something, take the lid off. You could let it dry. When it's dry, you could put it in a trash. I could dump it in the trash. Or what I usually do, I have a creek outside. I am going to take it outside and I'm probably just going to dump it in my creek, hose out my bucket, and put a bucket back in here. And the pre-rinse is really one of the biggest handy things to help keep the plumbing from first going down the drain so it doesn't go in the trap. And then, then obviously you don't want it to go into your pipes. So that is my cleanup method, or the clean out method of the Glaco trap. And that's my sink and how I do that. Pardon the mess. Sorry. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them.